Just finished looking at Bishone, and next up on the chopping block, the other new servant on the block, we got Kurohime, from a self-contained legend, apparently, that maybe not even a lot of Japanese people know about. Pretty interesting first ascension. Was not really expecting a design like this after having seen the reveal design, but it looks pretty cool. Very traditional-ish. Even has some kind of an bandage over her other eye. Is that Fuji on the background, you think? The mountain. Anyway, let's start by cracking that Ascensions and Aesthetics. And unlike Bishone, we should be seeing all her Ascensions right now. I think they only mentioned Bishone having locked Ascensions. She had two different voice tones there. Right, first Ascension, I assume this should be the one that was on the reveal, right? The very black design. There it is. So this is the one that a lot of people are very excited about. And, you know, I don't blame people. Who doesn't like a sailor uniform, right? I'm not the most, you know, biggest uniform fan ever, but I can appreciate it. I like the knee highs too. The hair is very, you know, even. A lot of people like that very long hair. I can see the appeal, right? Glasses, always a bonus. The background looks a bit more detailed now too. It's a pretty pleasing stage art to look at. Wow, that was kind of cute. So she said these glasses are not really for improving her eyesight, but rather, you know, distracting from the scar on her eye. And because she said, because she took off the bandage and she wanted to cover it up a little bit from the first ascension. But then the master's like, you know, comments that it's nice. Then she's like, oh, is it okay like this? Well, yeah, that's nice. I'm glad then. All right, so now we should be seeing another new design, because this is not locked, right? Oh, dude. I'm guessing it's mostly going to be the same, but let's see. Maybe something more traditional. Yeah, kinda, yeah. Myst Crane 2.0. It actually is a very similar design. She almost looks like a Miko here, or like a Shrine Maiden. Maybe she is. Again, I don't know anything about her legend, so. Alright, final Ascension. I think it could be any of the Ascensions, honestly. Let's see, which one is it gonna be? Oh, it's the final one. That is some long hair, dude. I think it's like water, and there seems to be like a cave above her head, right? I'm surprised she's actually fairly fan service free. Like, none of the Ascensions were like, you know, oh, look at my cleavage, or here's all my, you know, legs and like everything. Like, she's kind of tame. All right, let's see those sprites. Is she kind of levitating? It looks like she's floating, yeah. Now she's just standing, ready to draw the blade. Honestly, if this Ascension had the bandage over her eye, it would look very chuny, like the Summer Murasaki one. And then the first one is probably very similar to the second one, yeah. Non-floaty. But there's a lot of like wind going on. Very reserved. Can't see much skin, which is very rare for, you know, girls that have semi-young designs. So there you go. Ascensions and Aesthetics, fairly tame, but honestly, I welcome it, because a lot of the times all the girls we get in this game tend to be fairly lewd. Nice to get something a bit more tame for once. Right, so next up, let's talk about the gameplay. Oh, yes indeed. So a 4-star Saber, presumably a DPS, 10.7k attack on base level 80 with 1k foes, so about 9.7 without them. It's alright. It's not among the best, but it's certainly not among the worst either. It's alright. So stat-wise, pretty run-of-the-mill. Now, let's scroll down and see what the deck is like. Oh, scrolled past it. Spoilers. Double arts, double quick. Interesting. So more of a Gainsey deck for a Saber. Well, a lot of Sabers like to have at least 2 busters, some even 3. But she's like, no, I'm just gonna rock solo bolo. Now, hit counts, another 2-hitter for busters. So both the new servants are like that. Arts is 3. Quick is 4, and extra is 5. Not too shabby on those. MP gain is 0.62. So it's not as high as Bishone, but she does have more gains cards. I don't think her face cards are going to be as good as Bishone for gains, even if she has one more gains card. But they still look alright. Like, not too bad at all. The arts is still like, you know, over 1.8. Which is really good. Like, if you're getting closer to 2%, it's good. Now, the MP, I kind of already spoiled myself because I scrolled down through it, but it is arts, so she is blue. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about that because blue tends to be very strong, mostly because of support options, but yeah, blue is good. I'm a blue enjoyer too. All right, let's see passives. We got just 2, I think, and they seem to be base passives. So, Magic Res B, 17.5% debuff res. It's all right. It's nice to have. Riding C for 6% quick, which is actually nice. I wish the number was a bit higher because she does have 2 quicks on her deck. But yeah, it's a useful passive. And that's it, because these 2 are for the event. Not much to say about the passives, just a nice small bonus. The anti-append is against the riders. Again, not sure why. Theories are welcome. But as gameplay-wise, it's pretty forgettable. Just a neutral case, so you're not too invested into it. Although, I guess it's a bit better than, like, let's say, Avenger. That would be rarer to fight. So it's still a fairly common neutral case, so take that how you will. But I would say not an important append. Unless she has anti-rider gimmicks, then it's good. Right, the MP then. So, let's see. First of all, she gets a sure hit for 1 turn before anything. Great utility. Invul Pierce would be better, but still nice to have. Oh, but then she also gets 1 turn of Ignore Defense. And this is interesting. It is 1 turn instead of the MP doing Ignore Defense damage. So this applies to her face cards too. That's actually rare for an MP. Most MPs that have Ignore Defense only do it for the MP damage itself. So having it for 1 turn is better. Unless you're buff block, then you want the other one. But in most cases, this is actually better than the MP itself just doing Ignore Defense. And then she does single target damage. So wow, both servants are single target. And this one has a super effective against snake or dragons. Interesting. So did that trait exist before? Dragon did, right? Did snake trait exist before? I don't think it did. Correct me if I'm wrong. So is this a new trait now? Yes, snake did not, right? Okay, so I assume a lot of servants got attached snake now with this update. But yeah, it's dragon or snake, correct me if I'm wrong. Scales with overcharge. And then after damage, the target gets a arts resistance down for 3 turns. Would be obviously great if it was before damage, but it is a form of ramp up because she's a boss killer. So it being 3 turns is still nice, meaning the MP becomes more spammable and does more damage on consecutive uses. Numbers. It's a 5-hitter. Not sure how it's going to compare to some of the other single target sabers that have arts. Probably nowhere near Saito, who's like the king of all of them. But probably can actually refund a decent chunk, especially after you're doing consecutive MPs, with some of that arts res down there as well. And numbers wise, wow, the super effective actually scales, like I said, with overcharge. So it's a base 150, which is good, but then it scales up to a maximum of 200% with maximum overcharge. That's nice. Not sure how common snake trait will be. Or I guess they call it Lamia in Atlas. I guess you can translate it like that. But I would translate it to snake because it's literally the character. It's heavy. It's the character for snake. But I guess both are fine because one is more of a technical term. But yeah, not sure how common that's going to be. But dragons are fairly common. How many, like, there's even Dragon Lancers, like, literally, we have Bishona, I guess, so, I guess she's literally anti-Bishona, not sure if that's a story thing as well, but yeah, she would definitely mess her up good. And the arts res down is a flat 20% on, it doesn't scale, but 20% is good. That is nice. Yeah, there's like Ritra and Melusine as well, and probably some other stuff too that's not so obvious. And then maybe some Berserkers or other classes that she might do well against. And then normal enemies can have Dragon trait and Snake too. It's not definitely not exclusive to servants. So I want to say it's super effective it's all right. It's not like one of the more common cases, but it's certainly an interesting one. The Snake one in particular, no one else has that for anti-trait. No one else. Dragon, yes, some others do, but no one has an anti-Snake. So at least she's very unique in that sense. So, MP, I do like having both the sure hit and the ignore defense be 1 turn before damage, meaning the face cards also benefit from it on an MP that's probably fairly spammable, is really good. So I actually think this is also a really nice MP. So both of the new servants have great MPs. They're just great MPs. All right, let's see skills next. Ooh, first icon is a dodge. Interesting. So she herself gets a dodge for 2 hits, 3 turns. She gets stars per turn for 3 turns. She gets MP damage for 3 turns, and then all allies besides her that are snake or dragon get MP damage for 3 turns as well. So a bit of supportiness there as well on the final effect. So let's see numbers. 6 turn cooldown, 15 stars per turn. Okay, I like a 15. That's nice because she's arts based, meaning she probably doesn't generate a lot of stars besides that. 15 is nice. She gets 30% MP damage for 3 turns, and then her allies that are snake or dragon get also 30% for 3 turns. That, again, I assume she herself has one or both of the traits, but she doesn't get this other boost because it excludes her. So she only gets the first 30 for herself. But yeah, other allies can get 30 too if they have those traits. I like it. Good skill. We get the main card types on the second skill. Let's go, let's go. She's got a quick and arts up for herself for 3 turns. There it is. Crit damage for 3 turns. And then, again, all allies besides her that are snake or dragon get crit damage for 3 turns. And I'm guessing it's the same amount that she also gets, if it's anything like the first skill. Interesting. She shares the love. So, wow, it's 30% on everything. Wow. So the card types 30%, her own crit damage 30%, and snake dragon allies 30% crit. I like it. It's actually better than some of the old SSR split card type skills, which makes me depressed. It's probably better than the Okita Alter one, even after her buff. The evasion is for special invul peers. True, I guess. Yeah. There's the one time you want to have it if you're running Castori. Then we have a taunt. Honestly, I guess I didn't think about this, but yeah, having more defensive tools is nice if you're going to have a taunt too, assuming this is for herself. It's a self-taunt for 3 turns, but if I'm reading this correctly, it only works against dragon and snake enemies? So it's a conditional taunt? Interesting. And then she gets debuff immune for 1 time, 3 turns. And then gets healing every turn for 3 turns. An MP battery. And when there's snake or dragons on the field, she gets more battery based on the number. Oh, and based on the wording, I assume it includes both allies and enemies, right? So she really wants both dragon allies and enemies, because everything wants that in her kit. So numbers, we get a 6-turn cooldown. It is a specific taunt, yeah, against dragons and snakes. It's a 1000 healing per turn for 3 turns. 30% battery that you always get when you use this no matter what. And then for every entity on the field that has a Lamia and a dragon. Wait, I just realized.
Some time later.
The previous 2 skills, the buffs are, you get them 1 time if you have one of the traits, right? If you have both traits, you don't get double buffs, right? Same for the MP super effective, you don't get double damage. But for this skill in particular, you do get more gauge for individual traits. Okay, so this is the exception. That's why there's an and symbol. It doesn't mean they have to be both. It means you get 10% from both. Wow, I think we finally figured it out, okay. But that's great. So I guess the maximum then, if there's 3 enemies and 3 allies, because she doesn't have either. So for allies, it's 40. Enemies, it's 100. 100%. And then you get 30 guaranteed. So the maximum for 3 enemies, 3 allies is 130%, right? I think I have that math down now. But that's only if all the enemies and all your allies are both dragon and snake. Otherwise, it's anywhere between 30 and 130%. Yes, there's 6 enemy waves, but I'm doing the more realistic scenario here. She's an interesting package, I have to say. She wants both dragon and or snake enemies and allies. The ally part may be not the biggest thing ever. You can maybe ignore having allies, you know, not having those traits. It's mostly a loss for them not getting buffs, and then a little bit of less gauge for her, sure. But you kind of really want the enemy to be a dragon or a snake. Otherwise, her damage is going to be probably pretty mediocre. That's the vibe I'm getting here. She seems to have a fairly spammable MP, but the numbers won't be insanely high unless you're fighting the correct traits. People can prove me wrong if they have numbers to show otherwise, but yeah. I guess she could be paired with George. I guess you could do that. Same with like other anti-dragon allies. Respachi is permanent. Yeah, true. So MP levels could be something you might come across along the way, yeah. Honestly, I think she's gonna be fine. Will she be amazing? Maybe not. Like, if you're fighting that snake or dragon, yes, you can expect to see good stuff. If not, don't expect miracles. So I think that's my first impression of Kurohime. Anyway, with that, gonna conclude this first impression. So hey, if you enjoyed it, thumbs up on this video, of course. Thank you very much. And do subscribe not to miss out on future videos, because we're still not done for this one day. We're gonna have a quad video day. By the time I post the final one up, it's probably already bedtime for me. But yes, you will still see Medusa's buff breakdown after this, so stay tuned for that. Good luck if you're pulling for Kurohime. Shout out to my patrons on the screen right now, and shoot for being a big YouTube member tier supporter. And otherwise, see you in the buff breakdown or whatever it is you watch next.